Hello, everybody, and welcome to American Wasp. I am your host, Dieter McBusiness. America's favorite white Anglo-Saxon Protestant gone left coastal. I want to appreciate all of those of you who tuned in last night to the California gubernatorial debate. Stat Pat and I had a lot of fun, got a lot of new subs, new viewers, a lot of MAGA trash in the chat, and a lot of MAGA trash talking about liking Bianco in the comments following the live stream. So that was pretty funny. We'll take the attention, I guess, but it's really disconcerting how much reverence people have for cops and think that, because they wear a badge, they would be good public servants. That's just, I mean, what's the connection there? They're good at wearing a uniform and filling out paperwork and treating criminals like animals. Why are we predisposed to think the cops would make for good public servants? I don't know. I'm sure someone named Joe Walsh of the Social Contract will know, though. And that's what we're going to get into. More Joe Walsh. I'm having fun with this guy. I don't think he's going to do a collab with me. I called him all kinds of names last time, and part of me regrets it because it probably means he's not going to do the collab. But the bigger part of me is like, dude, this guy kind of deserves it. Like, it's not a three strikes and you're out situation where if you voted for Trump 3 times, I really want nothing to do with you. I'm just going to talk shit to your face and tell you to fuck off and die. And, I don't want anything to do with you. But this guy, I actually think has potential. See, that's the tragedy here. Is that this guy's a U Chicago grad. Like, this guy's got a brain in his cranium. And that's what makes it so infuriating to me. That's why I got so fired up last time. Because Joe Walsh is like the conservative dad I wish I had, because I know that if given enough time with Joe Walsh, I could probably get him into progressive pragmatism. Because I would use history. There's plenty of histories to support the progressive worldview is the best worldview for trying to define the relationship between the federal government and the private citizens. So let's get into Joe Walsh.
We are figure.
Hey, Thursday. Hey, look, I'm not an old man. I'm not an old fart. I'm not a kid either. I like to think that I'm still 24, but I'm not. But I'm not 84. I'm not knocking on death's door yet. I'm not an old fart, but I have said now publicly for easily 6, 7, 8 years that in my lifetime, the Republican Party that I was a part of my whole adult life, the Republican Party that I believed in, the Republican Party that I ran for Congress under the banner of, the Republican Party that I ran for president under the banner of, the Republican Party that to me, right, in my life, in my adult life, had always been the party of freedom, limited government, free markets, free speech, opportunity for all. That Republican Party ain't never coming back. Not in my lifetime.
Whoa.
And again.
Oh, not in my lifetime. Maybe he's been watching my shit. Here we go. Let's hear that again, guys, on regular speed. This could be, wow, that glimmer of hope that I had. Not in my lifetime. This is a little bit different, Joe Walsh.
For all, that Republican Party ain't never coming back.
Wow.
Not in my lifetime.
Wow.
And again, I'm not an old fart, but I'm not a kid either.
You're pretty old, dude.
I have said so many times publicly that Republican Party is not coming back. Not in my lifetime.
Then why do you call yourself a temporary Democrat?
I get asked that question all the time, right? How long will Trump have his hold on the Republican Party? How long will this be Trump's party? How long will he be the leader, the dear leader, the cult leader, the kingmaker? And my answer is always as long as he's alive. And probably beyond that.
There you go.
As long as I'm alive.
Yep.
The Republican Party is going to be Trump's party.
Oh, shit. I think his people showed him my reaction. Because I acknowledge that maybe he said this before without my prompt, but this was a big message to him on my last reaction video of, dude, you got to stop calling yourself a temporary Democrat, because that Republican Party that you knew and supported, that's never coming back, man. So come on over to the Democrats and listen to the progressives, not the liberals. The liberals aren't what you think they are. That's my message to guys like Joe Walsh. Give the progressive left a chance.
It will be the MAGA party. It will be the Trumpism party. It will be the illiberal party that it is now. At least that's what I believe. And there are so many people on both sides, on all sides, wishing this wasn't the case. Like, there are so many of my former Republican colleagues who think and hope and pray every damn day that the party of George W. Bush or Mitt Romney is coming back. Donald Trump will be gone in a year or two, right? And the party, nobody. I've had fellow Republicans tell me that the day is coming in a year or 2 or 10 where every Republican who supported Trump will deny they ever supported him. Bullshit. So many Republicans and so many true conservatives, because Trump is not a conservative, hoping and praying and that no longer be Trump's party. And they look for signs. And look, by the way, there are a lot of Democrats. There are just a lot of Americans who wish for the same thing. We've only got 2 political parties, 2 major political parties. That's a problem in and of itself.
There you go.
Need 3 parties, 4 parties, not just 2. This 2-party
Ranked choice
duopoly
voting
needs to die and go away, but I don't think that's coming anytime soon. But my God, there are a lot of Americans who look for any sign of hope they can find to convince them that this one of these 2 American political parties, which is fully anti-democracy, anti the rule of law, that it will be gone. That it won't be Trump's party. That Mitt Romney will be able to run for president, or Nikki Haley. I get it. I understand what everybody's hoping for, right? As long as we have 2 parties, we want both parties to be healthy. We want both parties, I don't know, as long as we have 2 political parties, we want both parties to support democracy and the rule of law. I get it. I'm right with you, but it ain't gonna happen. It certainly ain't going to happen soon.
There you go. Joe, you're growing.
And yesterday was a flat-out reminder. What happened in Indiana last night? A flat-out reminder to everybody hoping that the old Republican Party is coming back tomorrow. What happened in Indiana last night on primary day was a reminder that this remains Donald Trump's party. Wake up. News flash. It's Trump's party. Period. And that's not going to change. Keith, I don't know if I gave you a headline on Indiana or not. If I did, I know you've got it. Thank you, brother. Trump strikes back, says Fox News. All the lawmakers who opposed Trump on redistricting in Indiana, they lost. Thanks, Keith. Indiana had their primary day yesterday. Donald Trump desperately demanded redistricting in Indiana, right? Trump started the whole mid-decade redistricting bullshit, anti-democratic cheating crap in Texas. Indiana was one of the early states that Trump pushed to redistrict, to create more Republican seats. Indiana's a very conservative state. The Indiana state legislature pushed back and joined, enough of the Republicans in the state legislature joined Democrats to deny a redistricting bill being passed. And when that happened a few months back, Donald Trump pledged, I'm going to go after every single Republican who joined the Democrats to oppose my redistricting, something any mad king would do. There were 7 of these Republican state legislators in total who opposed Trump's redistricting. 5 of those 7 got wiped out yesterday in the Republican primary. A 6th race right now is too close to call. The 7th state legislator who opposed Trump, he ran with hardly any serious opposition. So Trump had a big night last night. He defeated the Indiana state legislators who opposed his redistricting cheating. And by the way, these 7 Republicans in Indiana who opposed Trump's redistricting, they're all solid conservatives. These primary challenges were all about Trump. The challengers to these Republican state legislators, they ran on one thing and one thing only. I love and adore Donald Trump. I bow down to Donald Trump. I would have supported Trump's redistricting. That was it. That's all they ran on. They ran against good conservatives who had been in the state legislature for a while. And Trump took them down. Trump did that. Trump held 5, maybe 6 Republicans get elected who nobody has really even heard of. The takeaway, the Republican Party is Trump's. And all of us hoping for something different in the next year, 2 to 4 to 6, need to stop that kind of foolish hoping and face the reality that this is Trump's party, and it moves beyond Trump. It's the party of Trumpism. It's the party of MAGA. It's the party.
So you're no longer a temporary Democrat, Joe? All right.
Of white Christian nationalism. It's the party of build a wall around America and keep people out, especially around the black people. That's what this party is. It's the party of use government to go after your political enemies. It's metastasized beyond Trump. But most importantly, Donald Trump's their leader. And ain't no other leader going to challenge him. Trump's not going to be able to run for president again in 28. He probably won't try, we don't think. But whoever the Republican Party nominee is in 2028, that nominee will have to get down on his or her knees, prostrate themselves in front of Trump, kiss his ring, and plea for his blessing. The 2028 Republican Party nominee is going to be picked by Trump. Donald Trump's the kingmaker in this Republican Party. And what happened in Indiana last night was just the latest piece of evidence. And again, everyone, and I say this every day to my former Republican friends and colleagues, come on now, life is short, move beyond your hopes and prayers for the Mitt Romney Republican Party coming back. It ain't coming back. Mitt Romney ain't coming back. But what's interesting about this is, as the Republican Party shrinks, and it is again, because of what Trump's been doing the past 15 months. As the Republican Party shrinks, Trump's hold on the party strengthens. There was a huge, Michigan had their primary yesterday as well, and a big win in a state Senate seat in Michigan. A Democrat won a district by like 26 some points. A district that Kamala won by 6. So again, showing that there is this Democratic overperformance right now. So we've got this thing going on where the Republican Party is becoming more and more Trump's, while the Republican Party itself is weakening across the board. That's a good and a bad thing. For America, it's generally a good thing because we need my former political party to lose. But it's a dangerous thing, as this one of our 2 major political parties becomes even more Trumpy by the day. I mean, look at all that Trump has done. Look at all the damage, all the bad, all the horrible, all the illegal that Trump has done in the last 15 months. It's going to get worse. But it's Trump's party. I got to tell you something. And I guess this is a segue. I want to talk about Marco Rubio for a second this Thursday, because all of the never-Trumper Republicans and the conservative Republicans and the people who oppose Trump and the independents who want to vote Republican and all of the conservative commentators who really are too afraid to go after Trump, everybody's pinning their hopes on Rubio, right? You've heard it, I've heard it. Rubio's the only sane person working in the Trump administration. Rubio's decent, he's smart. He's like that bridge between the old Republican Party and Trump. He's not like Vance, Joe. He's not MAGA and Trumpy like Vance or Tucker Carlson or Don Jr. or Ted Cruz. Marco Rubio, he's good. Marco Rubio's good. I hear so many of my wishful Republicans and former Republicans and independents saying right now, and a lot of businessmen who I know, who I talk to all the time, who despise Trump and despise what Trump's done to the Republican Party, but they very cowardly vote for Trump very quietly. They're telling me all the time that, Joe, Marco Rubio, now there's a Republican I can support, like that, enthusiastically, like that's the Republican, that's a sane Republican, that's an eloquent Republican that I can vote for, Joe. Really? Rubio was in front of the cameras yesterday, held a press conference yesterday, and the first thing, Keith, I want to talk about is what Marco Rubio said about the war. Take a listen to this. It's a short clip.
As President Trump has said, and the facts clearly bear out, the United States of America holds all the cards. There is no scenario here in which, if they decide to join a ladder of escalation, they wind up getting the last say. But our preference is to be back to the way it was.
You can pull it, Keith. Let me paraphrase. Technological issues again, on my end. Marco Rubio was asked about where we are in the war, and he said that Operation Epic Fury is done. So Rubio reiterated what Trump's been saying, that the war's over. We're going to declare victory. It's done. We've got to get back to that. Rubio said the same thing. We wanted to go back to the way it was before the war. We wanted to go back to where the Strait of Hormuz is open. And ballistic missiles, no, nothing. Nothing accomplished. Nothing that Trump and his administration, day after day, said was the aim or the goal of this war. Marco Rubio stood in front of the cameras yesterday and declared victory. Operation Epic Fury is over. The war is over. Rubio said we're moving on to the next phase. What did we accomplish? And see, again, part of the problem here is Trump. Donald Trump had no victory is over. Project Freedom that they just started 2 days ago. Nobody knows. In demonstrating how Marco Rubio has sold his soul. I don't know all you smart conservative thinkers who oppose Trump, but you'd vote Republican if Rubio were the nominee. Okay, so you won't vote for a crazy. Like all these, the folks at the Dispatch and the Bulwark, and you write all these principled, principled conservative thinkers and talkers. They don't wrap their arms around Trump. They don't want to get their hands dirty and really go after Donald Trump being the unique threat he is to democracy and the rule of law. And they're part of this group that just pulls out hope that, oh my God, if it's Marco Rubio, there's a good Republican. That's the Republican we can support. Then it's Marco, like Marjorie Taylor Greene or Tucker Carlson. I couldn't support either one. But that's just me. Hey, I want to make note of this right now, and I've mentioned it the last couple of days. In about an hour and a half, at 12 noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern, there's a new group called The Big Middle on Substack. And at 1 o'clock Eastern today, The Big Middle is going to be doing something fascinating. They're going to be holding a live stream web show to begin to find out if through technology, the American people can find consensus on issues. It's going to be fascinating to watch. And they're going to introduce it today, The Big Middle on Substack. They're going to introduce this concept, this live streaming web show on Substack today at 1 o'clock Eastern, explain what it's all about, and begin to see if this can actually work. If you can gather thousands of Americans electronically, put a contentious issue in front of them, and see if through the technology, right, they can arrive at consensus on an issue. It's called The Big Middle. If you're on Substack, you need to follow them and subscribe to them. You can only watch this web show on Substack at 1 o'clock Eastern today. You got to go to The Big Middle. I'm fascinated by what they're trying to do because it is another iteration of what I'm trying to do as I travel the country with Hope Not Fear Project.org, where every 2 weeks I'm getting in front of Americans. I'm putting Americans in a room who disagree. I'm locking the door, and we're having a good, tough, honest, face-to-face conversation. And then we're filming the conversations and putting that content out there. Now I'm doing this just to help Americans learn how to listen to each other and understand each other. The Big Middle is trying to take it a step further and see if Americans who disagree can actually arrive at consensus at a grand scale, right? Using technology. So thousands of Americans sitting down talking about gun violence. Can they, over the course of a few sessions, arrive at some sort of consensus issue on what to do about guns or any issue? Should be fascinating. It will be. It's all The Big Middle, The Big Middle, The Big Middle. That's the name of the group. They're on Substack. You can watch this live streaming web show today and be part of it on Substack. Just go to The Big Middle. It's at 12 noon Central, 1 o'clock Eastern today. The Big Middle on Substack. Keith, I'm going to stop there. I want to get to the other Rubio clip from yesterday is just gold. And I will get into that tomorrow because, again, it says so much about who and what Trump is.
All right, that's enough from Joe Walsh of The Social Contract. It's great to see at least some growth. My instincts on him were correct, that there is hope for him to evolve as a human being, even at the ripe young age of 63, having been a member of the Tea Party. So he's only a single Trumper. He's not a double Trumper or a triple Trumper. So I think he can be changed if he looks at himself. He does this Hope Not Fear Project.org thing where he goes around and gets people who disagree to talk as if that changes anything. And if he actually looked at himself and his own personal views and evolved past the cultural assumptions that the Republican Party established in the 80s, then he could be a valuable member of the progressive left. But he's also the kind of guy that I think has a problem with the weirdos, freaks, and geeks faction of the progressive left. He just cannot stand, and I should give him a chance. Maybe he doesn't feel this way, but being on the same team as a lot of people who are artistic and transgender and gay and just very different from him. So I don't know. I'd be interested to hear how he responds. If his people are watching, know that I'm still open to working together, I think, but as long as you go in with the open mind and considering that I understand national politics today better than you do, and that's why you're still caught up in this politics of civility, where the point is to ultimately get to the conclusion of agreeing to disagreeing, which doesn't lead to progress. It just leads to the status quo winning. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you have not already. I could really use the help in growing the channel. If you haven't checked out my essays, please check out my essays, because that's the work I'm most proud of. And I think it's the work that you could maybe find yourself referring other people to. So please check out those essays. And until next time, never forget that you don't get change in America by asking nicely.